All right, so the very first thing is just kind of really quickly what ConvertKit is for. Uh, there's this method that works really, really well for capturing leads, and that's instead of somebody coming to your page and you trying to sell them right away, instead you try to teach them something first. So imagine that you and I meet for the first time, and we're talking for a minute, and then I say, uh, like, I just hear that you're interested in software design. And so then I immediately say, oh, I wrote this book on software design. It's $39. You should buy it. Like, that's not going to go over very well. But if instead I find out that you're interested in software design, I uh, teach you a few things, share some great resources with you, uh, and then get you onto maybe an email list, or like give you plenty of stuff for free. And then later on, if I casually mention that if you want some more information, I have this book, then there's going to be some trust there. And then you're going to be much more likely to want to sign up or to want to actually purchase the book. So this is a method that I use on all of my books. And let's see. So I'll show you on authority as just an example. So you can come down and you can scroll through. You can buy the book, down here, but also you can get the free sample chapter. And this is powered by ConvertKit. And so instead of just having people download the link or download the PDF directly, you actually can do that by clicking here. I say put in your name and email address, and then I'll send you the sample chapter. And so then that's all powered by ConvertKit, but then I'm at least capturing people's email addresses so that later on I can reach out to them. But the more powerful thing is this little checkbox here about receiving a free 30-day course on writing and profiting from a self-published book. This is just my example from Authority. But this is where I reach out to them gradually, and I have plenty of time to teach that person more things and gradually make a sale. So I can make sure that one, somebody doesn't just visit this page and disappear, but also that I can build a relationship slowly over time. And that way I don't feel rushed to make a sale, the first time they visit this page, because I have a connection with them. I have these similar things on all my books. I suppose I should have pulled those up in advance, but let's see. Here's the same thing. Get the sample chapter by email, and again, opting into a 30-day course on designing better web applications. So I'm going to show you how to set, or how this kind of thing is set up right now in ConvertKit. And so it starts with a form. And these are all the forms that I have going on in ConvertKit. Some of them aren't active. You can see 2 subscribers. Or 0 subscribes. Those aren't active forms. But some of these other ones have had quite a few people subscribe. And you can see that I've got forms for just about everything. This is a new course I'm coming out with on mastering product launches. I'll show you that example really soon. Let's see, some of these with really low conversion rates appear at the bottom of blog posts using the ConvertKit WordPress plugin. And let's see. The one I wanted to show you, though, is this authority sample chapter. So I just recently put this up, so it only has 22 people that have subscribed. But 4.5% of people who come through this page end up dropping their name and email address in that field there. And so but the more important thing is this course part. And so here I've got my courses up, and here you can see the authority course. And then this is the course where I teach them more information over time, about writing, about packaging, more information about the book. Here's another sample section. And then I've got all this time that I can gradually sell them on the book to see if they're interested. So that's the basic idea, and I'll show you a couple more really quick. That's the wrong tab. Let's see. So here is one for designing web applications. You can see that I've got an introduction email, teaching things. It's content from the book. Talk about learning to wireframe. And then in this third email, I believe it's the third one. Yeah, I have this little PS message. So I teach a whole bunch of useful things. Then down at the end, I say, if you're learning from the series, you should take a look at the book. And so this helps draw people in. Another thing that I want to show you with ConvertKit is note this course, Designing Web Applications. Here, it's teaching a bunch of things and selling them on the book. And so I wrote that course once, and then I get to use it a couple different times. So here, my Designing with CSS 3, and let me try to find a blog post that has that at the end of it. So I'll pull that up. I'm trying to think what blog post would be about design. I think one more back. It's been a little while since I've written about design. We'll try this one. And I'll keep going back just in case it doesn't have it. So down at the bottom of the post, there we go. Okay, down at the bottom of the post, I've got this ConvertKit form on a free course on designing with CSS3, and that's the free carrot or incentive that people can get right away. But then here's this email, the opt-in to the 30-day course, and you notice that that's the same opt-in that you find here. And so both of these forms, I'll show them to you in ConvertKit. Here's one of them in ConvertKit, and then here's the web app sample chapter. So two different forms. They give out two very different things when you sign up right at first, but they both put you onto the Designing Web Applications course. So the nice thing is that I get to write that course one time, and then I get to use it in a bunch of different ways throughout my site to get people hooked and interested. You can see again, I have this little video I put out on using Twitter Bootstrap to create interfaces. And again, if people opt in, it promotes that Designing Web Applications course. I've got a bunch of other things, but I think that's all I want to show you on that. So I'll walk you through creating a new form. And so right at first, everything that I've showed you, well, we'll just call this webinar form. Everything that I've showed you is for creating forms that you embed somewhere else. But if you want, you can also create a full landing page, and then you would need to set a URL. Currently, these are only hosted with ConvertKit, and so they have convertkit.com in the URL. That's something that will be changing later, but for now, there's not really a way around that. So we're going to go just a form to embed. And actually, I'm going to call this product launches demo, because there's I want to show you how to put together a new course. Learn to master product launches. And I'm not going to fill out all of this, but you can see here's where you would fill out the description. And then you could say, subscribe to the course. And so you can fill out all these different details. We could upload an image. So where's an example? Here's an example of one of those images uploaded. I'm not going to do that right now because I just want to demonstrate this, but then we can save it. And then, so that's the basic details of what's going to be shown to the user. But what we want to do next is go into the settings, and this is where you can configure a lot of things. So if later on you want a full landing page instead of just a course, you can change that. This is the sign up incentive here. And so I can either upload a file to browse my file system there, and that could be a PDF or just about anything else, or I can add a URL if I want. And in this case, I'm going to add a URL. but we'll do that later. So I'll just show you an example of uploading a file. We'll just add this one. It doesn't make a lot of sense for that file to be there, but that's where you could add a PDF, like for a sample chapter or something like that. And then this sign up success message is what's going to appear in the form right after somebody signs up. So if I were to fill out this form and click send me the video course, it's a text that's going to appear right here in place of the form. And then in the incentive email, it's pre-filled with a bit of information, but this is the email that they're going to get right after signing up. And just filling out the form doesn't actually confirm their subscription. So they need to click the button that is in that form. And the reason for that is, in email marketing terms, it's called a double opt-in. And that confirms that, yes, they really did want to opt into your site or opt into your form. And you can verify that they actually own that email address. So that way, somebody else can't go along and sign them up for a whole bunch of things that maybe they want nothing to do with. So you can fill this out to say anything you want. It could be like one that I did recently was required confirm to enroll in mastering product launches, which is a course that I have coming out. And so then I would customize this text to make sense there. And then instead of saying claim your reward on this button that they're supposed to click, I would say like confirm your account or confirm your subscription. And then you can personalize this, add your name, other details. You want to have a good personal, friendly relationship with your subscribers rather than trying to seem extra corporate. So another example of how you could fill out this incentive email, actually I'll just pull it up. But another example is with a sample chapter, and I'll show you one of those. So when you sign up for Authority and you want the sample chapter, here's the incentive email that you'll get. So the subject line is Authority Sample Chapter, and then, hey, here's the sample chapter of Authority. And then, of course, it's a download button for the PDF. So customize it based on the incentive that you're giving out. And then the great thing that happens is this is going to redirect to the PDF. So when they click this button in the email, it's going to confirm their subscription and then seamlessly redirect them to the file. So that way, it's not annoying and in their face that they're confirming a subscription. Like, we kind of do it behind the scenes. So it's a much better user experience. As last few details, you can add some custom CSS if you want to customize the form in any way. And then this is where you can copy and paste the embed code into pretty much any page you want. And then, of course, if you wanted to delete it, you can do that there. All right, so I'm going to show you an example of this embedded in a landing page. And that's nathanbarry.com/launch. If you guys want some more content on launching products, this page is going to have it. Oh, there we go. This is just a free course that I'm putting out on how to launch products, and the content is dripped out over time using ConvertKit, of course. So what you would do at this point is we've set up some basic things for our course, but then you can come down here under the course settings, and here's my Mastering Product Launches course, but I'm actually going to, so if the course was pre-existing, you would just select that there and click Save. So we'll give that a try, and then I will show you, if we go back to content, you'll see that this new box appeared. And so you can say, I'd like to receive a free 30-day course on improving product launches. And then when you'd save that, that box would show up in the form. Now you can see that this course actually doesn't have that checkbox. And that's because I just it's checked by default, and I used CSS to hide it. Since the only thing to do here is opt into the course, it's clear that they're going to get more emails. And so I just hid the checkbox, subscribe to everybody by default. So that's one nice thing about ConvertKit is all these forms are customizable, so you can use them for a lot of different things. But then I'll walk you through actually creating that course. So it's in this tab. And so let's say we wanted to create a brand new course. So you'd click create new course, and we'll call this product launches test. And that's going to create it with 3 emails in there by default. And what you can do is, so I'm just going to call this welcome to the course. And I want this to send on day 1. So 1 day after the subscription. And I can fill out any kind of content I want here. And I'll just save that for now. And then let's say we want to send this out on day 3. And this will be, well, I'm just going to call this using email to teach. And then this one here, let's say pricing and packaging strategies. And let's send this out on day 5 and just save all of those. Okay, so you can see that those are that those are set up that way. But then what if I wanted to send the pricing and packaging email on day 3 and using email to teach on day 5? So I can actually just click on these and drag it down, and you can click and reorder. And looks like there's a little bit of a bug there that shouldn't have happened quite how it did. We just deployed some new code last night, and so we'll get that fixed. But you can reorder these emails, and the dates will show up there. And as far as the timing, setting at 11 a.m. Eastern, currently that's not a setting, but it will be very soon. So right now the email courses will only go out at 11 a.m. Eastern, but very soon we'll let you choose a time for that and let you choose days that those can send on. So yeah, you'd want to set that. Eventually, you'll be able to set that based on time zone and other things like that. To add a new email, just click the Add Email button, and then you can fill out more content. You'll see that 3 days, 1 day after that, you can always reorder the emails. So that makes it really easy. As far as formatting in the emails, I like to keep them really plain and simple. And I'll switch over to another course and show you what I mean by that. What I don't like when you're teaching someone something is sending really heavily designed emails. So I was talking to somebody, I think last week, and we were at a conference, and one of the speakers was talking about how in your autoresponder series or your courses like this, you should have little calls to action like, hey, if you have a question, hit reply, send me an email. And that way people will get much more engaged. And there wasn't any hard data with this, but like anecdotally, the speaker was saying that the people who bought his higher priced products were the ones who had clicked respond and they'd had a email conversation back and forth. And so the more engaged you get people, the more likely they are to buy. And so it's great to have that call to action, like hit reply if you have any questions, or hit reply to answer this specific question. And so one person in the audience that I was talking to afterwards said, I tried that on my emails, but I never actually get a response. And so I thought that was weird because he's got a really good sized email list. So I was wondering why would nobody respond to his emails? And so we actually pulled up his emails and looked at it in more detail and found he had really detailed, pretty heavily designed email templates. And so they didn't feel personal at all. And so people were opening them and that sort of thing, but there was no connection there. People didn't feel like the email was sent to them individually. And so, of course, they weren't going to respond. I mean, if you got a Best Buy advertisement with tons and tons of images and graphics and heavily designed, but it said like hit reply with a question or something like that, um, you wouldn't be very likely to respond to that. So the more personal you can make your emails, both in your writing and in your design, the more likely you are to get higher engagement and more responses. So we'll go into the Designing Web Applications course, and you can see here's all my emails timed out from day 1 to day 29. And you can see that they're mostly plain text emails. I've got a few images, and then italics here, bold, italics, bullets, some basic formatting. Basically, what you could do in an email you send from Gmail, but nothing too fancy. And at any time, if you want, you can preview the emails. Oh, it came up on the other screen, but it comes up with this little preview, so you can see what the email will look like once it's received. And then, of course, you can delete an email, and those are just the basic features. One of the other cool things is reports. So you can click over to the reports tab, and then you can see what are the stats for each email. And so, for example, this first email, 57% open rate, that's pretty good. You might wonder, 0% click rate, that's awful, until you realize that there aren't actually any links in that email. So that would make more sense as to why nobody clicks it, because there aren't any links. Next email, 59% open rate, and we keep track of how many people each email was sent to. I've done some reordering of these emails, so that's why the numbers are a little different. And then we keep track of how many people have unsubscribed from each one of those emails. So if you were to look down this list and see like, oh, my course is doing pretty well, but then you received like email 6, there was like 20 unsubscribes, you might want to rethink the quality of that email. And of course, you can always download all your subscribers as a CSV and then import them to whatever, to another tool like MailChimp or Aweber if you are still using them as well. So you can see that my emails tend to average a 50 to 60% open rate. And you might look through this and see 45% open rate. That's my worst one. And take your web app design to the next level isn't that great of a subject line, so it makes sense that it would be lower. Let's see. So yeah, that takes care of most of that. Let's see. A question coming from James. Are you able to track which subscribers are doing the clicking? We're tracking that right now in the database and in the system. We just don't have an interface yet to expose it to. Like, I can't just click in and see who it is that's clicking right now. But that will be coming. But we're making sure that behind the scenes we're tracking everything about what users are subscribing to which courses, so that eventually we'll be able to build an interface where you can click into an individual person and then see what they're doing across your whole ecosystem. And we'll let you do some other targeting off of them later. So hopefully that answers that. Are there any questions at this point in the process? So Raymond is asking, if I already have subscribers on a list for 10 days now and start an email course to have the first email go out 2 days after the subscription, will the existing subscribers miss the first email? And yes, unfortunately they would. One thing that we're going to be adding is if you create a form, let's see if I have a good example. I'm going to look through my forms. Let's take this one. So this is a sales page or a landing page that I had for my book Authority. And this form actually isn't in use anymore. Um, but it was just a landing page with a book icon and then a little bit of text and then an opt-in form to say, hey, if you're interested in the book and you care about self-publishing, sign up here and I'll let you know when it launches. And so I got 751 people to subscribe. But notice there's no course. So I was just capturing all these email addresses, and then later I exported them to MailChimp, where my main list is. So what we're going to be adding later is so that I could come in here and add a course retroactively. Like I have this Authority course. And then what it would do is, and it doesn't do this yet, but it's on our feature list, is when you click this, it would say, hey, you have 751 subscribers already on this course or on this form. Do you want to automatically start them on the course? And so that's something that's coming on the feature list, but I can't guarantee a timeline yet. Okay, so next question is how to lay out a landing page. We'll come to that pretty soon. Next question from James is there a formula about how many emails to send, the frequency, and how long a course should be? That depends on quite a few things, what you're trying to do. I really like this timing. It's similar to something suggested by Patrick McKenzie, who he blogs at calzumius.com. All of his stuff is very, very useful. So I tend to do day 1, day 3, day 5, day 9, 14, 20, 24, 29. You can see that they gradually get further and further apart. I don't want somebody to get completely tired of me sending them an email every single day. But if you wanted, like one example of ConvertKit that somebody else is doing is they've got 30 video tips where it's like this daily, there's just these short videos, how to do something else, how to do all these little things. And so basically you get a 1 to 3 minute videos emailed to you every single day. And you could set that up with ConvertKit. So then you would it'd be day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. So it depends on what's the best fit for your audience. But in the case of trying to convert somebody to buy one of my books, this is basically the interval that I like. And so these two are going to be pure education. This one will be education with a soft sell, more pure education. This one will be a hard sell. So you'll see that the only link in there is to actually buy the book. And then go back to pure education. And then this one will have a soft sell at the end. I hope that answers that. KK asks, is that part of it? KK, can you clarify what you mean by that? Charlie's asking, can you recommend any resources for good email subject lines? Oddly enough, when you're in ConvertKit, just using it, and you can click this how to write emails to get opened link, and that will take you to an article that I wrote on writing subject lines. And then there's some more links, links to different things. So, lost my tab. And then there's also a link to writing email content. So 2 articles there that I wrote. We're going to add more and more of these little help tips just as they come up. So if you come across something and say, hey, I'm struggling with, like the example of the timing of emails, that's a good thing to let me know, and I'll write a short little article or a bit of help text on how to do that. All right. Is it easy getting an existing subscriber list into ConvertKit? No, it's not. You have to email us, and we'll take care of it and set it up for you. So in that sense, it's easy because it just takes 1 email. But yeah. Oh, is a landing page part of ConvertKit, or do you do that elsewhere? Landing pages are part of it, and we'll go set one up in just a second. Next question, what is the maximum days you can put after subscription? That's a good question. You could actually put in Quite a few. I've tested, well, it's a weird thing to test. In theory, there's no limit. I've put in up to 60 or 90 days that I've actually received the email, but it's a weird thing to test just because to truly test it, you'd have to wait that many days. But there's no limit. Any customers using this with their Shopify stores? Um, Not that I know of, but I don't see why you couldn't. A great use for that would be maybe an educational series on. So like somebody's on the store going through options of what they could buy, and then maybe they're not quite convinced, and so you could have an email series of how to choose the best version of whatever the product is, and then that could keep them engaged with some good content there. Okay. So can you split test two emails against each other? Is what Pat is asking. And you cannot right now. But this is one of the things I'm most excited to build into ConvertKit is once it comes, we're going to let you split test two emails in an autoresponder sequence or a course against each other. And it's going to be awesome because as far as I know, you can't do that in other platforms with autoresponder sequences, which is really, really annoying because that's the thing that I want to split test most. So unfortunately, you can't right now, but I am super excited to build that feature in. Okay, so next thing is, can you please add subscribers CRUD in the UI? So that'd be create, update, destroy, all that. As far as management in the UI, we'll get to that eventually, but for now, for subscriber management, you have to download the CSV, and we'll add an interface for it, but there are some other details that we want to get right first. Next question, could you embed a buy it now link within the email to go, like, for example, straight to Gumroad? And you definitely could. So right here, this link says learn more about designing web applications, and that links to my product page. Let's see. So it links to the book page, but there's no reason that, let's see, I couldn't link directly to this page. I would just need to drop in the different Gumroad link to link straight there instead of linking to an intermediate, an intermediate sales page. You're going to get better results because, obviously on the sales page, I can include all kinds of other information. But you could link straight to Gumroad. Yep. And so, Roland, I totally agree. Split testing would be awesome. It will be awesome. And the next question is, you send emails via what service? What steps are taken to ensure deliverability? So deliverability is a hard thing to do, and that's why we're not trying to recreate that part of it. So we send emails using Mailgun. They were just fairly recently acquired by Rackspace, and so they're a big player in the email deliverability area, and they've been great at making sure, that everything we're doing helps emails get delivered. And so they've got everything taken care of as far as whitelisted IP addresses and everything like that. So that's one area to let some insanely experienced people take care of that, and that's been really good. So I highly recommend Mailgun if you need them for another product or something like that. And so it's great to be able to build ConvertKit on top of their awesome technology. James is asking, can you briefly describe the tech you use to design ConvertKit's interface, Bootstrap, etc.? Let's go back. So yeah, ConvertKit is built on Bootstrap. So like these are Bootstrap buttons here. It just makes it a lot quicker to build things. As far as other tech, ConvertKit's written in Ruby on Rails. It uses a MySQL database, using Sass to render all the CSS. Let's see, these icons are done with an icon font called Font Awesome, which I love. So the nice thing is, like they scale seamlessly. So this icon here is the same as that one there, even though they're at two different sizes. So there actually aren't any images on this page other than my little gravatar up there. So that's really nice. As far as other tech things, it's jQuery and pretty straightforward HTML and CSS. There's nothing super fancy in here. Okay, now really quickly before we end, I want to show you landing pages. And so as you look through this, you can see there's two different icons. There's one here, like a page icon versus a little form icon. And so that just says whether it's just a form or a full landing page. And I'm going to look for one like this one, this Designing with CSS3. You can see it's got a bunch more content areas for the full page. And I'm just going to open that page so you can see what it looks like. Here's an example of the page. There's that header, the subheader, then the content area, and then there's that form that we're used to on other pages. And so you can see as you flip back and forth between these, that it just basically directly maps to, changing this header, changes that text right there, and so on. And just like with the email templates, you've got all these formatting options in order to style it. But I don't give you too many formatting options because I really, really want you to focus on great content rather than fiddling around with a whole bunch of design stuff. So all the rest of the settings are the same. And so for example, you upload an incentive the same way or enter a URL. So in this case, this redirects to a URL. The course is the same, all of that. Now, what I like to do is, because all of these landing pages are hosted on ConvertKit.com. Later on, we'll have like domain name masking or forwarding. So I could do like pages.nathanbarry.com/designing with CSS3 and get to the same point, but we don't support that yet. And so what I like to do is create my own simple landing pages. And if you want to send me an email, I can send you templates for all of my landing pages. And so like this is just a quick one that I threw together with a ConvertKit form at the bottom. So that's the way I do it, and then I just host them in WordPress. But if you want to get a great looking landing page really, really quickly, this ConvertKit page will have you taken care of. The only downside is that it's hosted on ConvertKit.com. All right. Moving through to a couple more questions. Roland, sorry, I don't understand do we do the DKIM via ConvertKit? What do you mean by DKIM? Next question, will you add more themes for landing pages? If not, all landing pages made using ConvertKit will look the same. Yes, they will. So we will add more themes. Basically, we're going to add two different styles. One pretty simple, this style, and then a long form, single paragraph style more like this. Because those are the two styles that I find myself using and that I find work best. And then, so we're going to switch between those two. I don't think you need a lot of styles. We're not going to try to compete with maybe an Unbounce or a LaunchRock that has a zillion methods of doing it. One thing that we want to make really, really easy is integrating all of these themes with your WordPress, like with your WordPress site. So I'm going to, here's a link if you want to the ConvertKit WordPress plugin. Hopefully everybody can see that, or I'll drop it into the chat there. So that's on GitHub. You can download it and install it. You just need to use your WordPress or your ConvertKit API key, which is available under Advanced. You'll see it there. let's see. Yeah, so you'd copy and paste this API key into the settings once you install the ConvertKit WordPress plugin, and then it makes some of those things super easy. Let's see if I have an example up somewhere. You're going to get to see my WordPress backend in just a second. Okay, so the next question, is there A/B testing on the landing page elements? No, there's not. And we probably won't add A/B testing on the landing pages because there's a lot of great tools like Visual Website Optimizer and other ones like that that handle it really well. So we may get to it eventually, but that's not nearly as important. It's not nearly as important as A/B testing autoresponders because that's something that you currently can't do anywhere else. Oh, and all the domain stuff that we need to do, like the DKIM, by the way, is domain keys identified mail, and that is integrated all with Mailgun. So just like when you send with Mailchimp or whoever else, it'll say it comes from yourdomain.com via ConvertKit.com, and only Gmail only sometimes, or it doesn't always show that. I don't know that I have an email handy to show it to you with, but yeah. Oh, next question. Are the forms and landing pages responsive? The landing pages are. Let me find an example. So if you were to drag that in, you can see it's then in one long line. The forms, when they're embedded by themselves, aren't responsive, but they're pretty easy to modify. Next question. Are the emails responsive? And yes, they are. That's one of the great things about using nice, clean email templates is that they're going to look great on mobile. They're going to look great on a desktop. James is saying that I read his mind with the WordPress plugin, which reminds me, I was going to show you that. So the WordPress plugin, I'm still, basically I just need to go through and add some help text in a few places. But you can see where I embed my API key, but then also I can select a default form to appear at the bottom of all my posts and then save that. But then on any given post, I can override that. So when we come in, then down here towards the bottom, you can see there's ConvertKit. And then I can say, I want the default form to show up, or I can go down and say, I don't want a form, or I want any one of my other ones. So I could look at the post and say, what's the best fit? And then select, maybe this post is about design. So I'll select one of my, like designing with CSS3 or my Bootstrap course or something like that. So I can select whichever form I want specific to each post or turn it off for that form. And that makes it really, really easy to collect email addresses in a targeted way that's relevant to that post. So that's why I love the WordPress plugin for ConvertKit. Okay, so the next question is, I've noticed a trend towards these courses with commercially published books. Designed for Hackers, Summer of Design course. Can ConvertKit be used to promote a book published with a traditional publisher in this way? Also, is there a way to cross-reference emails for specific campaigns to check conversion to sales ratio? So one thing that we're not doing, well, I'll answer the first part of the question. And could you promote traditionally published books? And you absolutely could. Basically, all you need to do is drop, let's see if I still have it up. You can drop any kind of a link in these forms. So that could link to Amazon, that could link to wherever. And just because your book is sold to a traditional publisher doesn't mean it prevents you from doing like these sample chapter opt-ins, which are a great way to drive traffic and build up your email list. The next part of the question is on tracking. And so what I would recommend you do is just add like a campaign identifier or something like that in Google Analytics to the end of the link, or use whatever whatever works for tracking conversions with your e-commerce tool, because that's going to be different for everybody's tools. Um, Next question, how is this different than MailChimp? So MailChimp is focused on sending beautiful emails. So what they do first is send one-time marketing emails. And then later they kind of bolted on this feature so you could do autoresponders. But it's not particularly good. And it frustrated me so much that I would find myself actually not writing autoresponder sequences, or courses, even though I knew they worked really, really well. And the reason is just because it was so painful to actually get them set up. I hated it so much. And same in Aweber. And so now I've actually gone through and written, I think I have 6 active autoresponder series. Some of these are tests, but you can see, I've got 6 of them running right now. And that's because it's so easy in this interface to just add a new email, to drag and drop to reorder. You get to see your whole course as a sequence. And rather than like in MailChimp, you have to click in and out. And if you can't tell, I'm fairly passionate about making this process much easier. Anyway, so that's the basic difference. Is there an option to get a backup of my ConvertKit.com data, like subscribers, etc.? You can download any of your subscribers as a CSV. If there's other data that you'd like, just send me an email and I can get you an export of that. So at this point, I think that answers all the questions, hopefully. Going back to, see, I had ConvertKit.com open somewhere. So if you want to sign up, there's a free 14-day trial, and you can, glance through the features some more here, but then also go to see plans and pricing. And the plans are at $50, $125, and $250 a month. You can sign up, cancel anytime before the trial, and you won't be billed. You can also, and there will be an email 3 days before the trial ends to remind you. But yeah, it would be great to have all of you guys as customers. And actually, I see a handful of names in here that I already recognize as customers. We're growing pretty quickly, so that's a lot of fun. And then if you happen to work for a large company and you need large volumes, much larger than this, we do have some enterprise plans that you can check out. Let's see. Hold on, there's one more question. Oh, so saying that there are many companies that offer a superset of the features, as you could implement ConvertKit on, say, customer.io, and a bunch of other stuff. So yes, there's a bunch of different companies offering a range of things. This is basically the tool that I wish I had when I was selling my books, because it's really, really targeted at this process of getting somebody interested by teaching, capturing that lead, and then gradually selling them with the autoresponder sequence. And so that's what I absolutely want to nail, and hopefully ConvertKit does that. So my email is nathan@convertkit.com, and feel free to send me an email. I have a little bit of a backlog of emails right now, but I'm going to knock them out in the next day or so. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate your attention, and sign up and then send me an email and let me know how I can help.